Hi there, folks. My name is Emily.
And I am Elp.
And we are Oh My Word, a podcast where we discuss books, movies, musicals, TV shows, etc., specifically sharing with you the content so that you can make more informed decisions about the content that you consume.
Exactly. And how do you do that? Well, we'll tell you. We have a very handy guide, our pearl clutching scale, which not only protects your pearls and makes sure that they are at their best, but also tells you, on a scale of 0 to 4, how many pearls will need to be clutched for this, and do I really want to be clutching so many pearls in the entertainment that I consume? Violence, language, and romance. What do we say? Oh, yeah, 0 to 4. 0 means no pearls clutched, and 4 means all the pearls were clutched. So you can just look at that and be like, is this for me or not?
So those are our three main categories: violence, language, romance. And then we also sometimes talk about other things. Some things fall into that are, there's different issues that come up in different movies and books. But essentially, how violent is it? What's the language like? And then romance is both romance and sex. Like we talk about if there's too much romance and, because you might assume that it would be just sex, but, sometimes there's just a lot of romance. And it's too much. Especially for certain people in this conversation who will remain nameless. Some people just have no heart, and they just don't understand romance, and that's okay because they have other things to offer, and when I figure out what those things are, I will let you know. So today, we are talking about a teen movies, actually, Tall Girl and Tall Girl 2. It's a Netflix movie. I'm pretty sure one of the few Netflix movies not based on a book.
And also where the teens don't take their clothes off. Sorry, I had to put that.
Yes.
Spoiler alert!
Spoiler alert, they don't take their clothes off, which is really sad that we have to qualify that, but so many teen movies, they're taking their clothes off, which is gross. Yes, but this one's not based on a book. At least I couldn't find anything about it, which is neither here nor there, except they do so many adaptations. It's interesting that this one is actually just a movie. Anyway, so Tall Girl is about Jodie, who, as you probably guessed, is a tall girl. But really tall, 6 feet tall, or 6 something. Less than 6'4", but more than 6. Being tall has been a struggle her whole life, and now she's in high school, where everything is just so much harder. I mean, high school is just the worst. And she wants to find romance, and there's finally a guy who's taller than she is, and that's pretty cute. But is it possible that love has been in front of her and possibly slightly below her nose the whole time?
Dun, dun, dun. See what we did with that?
We gave it, for our ratings, violence is a 1.5, language is a 2, and romance is a 2. Violence, even 1.5, maybe a 1 is even better.
Yeah, probably a 1.
Yeah, you know what? Let's make violence a 1. There's one fight where a couple of punches are thrown, but it's not particularly graphic, and it's a pretty short fight, right? It's 2 or 3 punches, and that's about it.
Yeah, not overly much.
Yeah. So violence is a 1. Language is a 2, which is actually really, really good.
Also for Netflix.
For Netflix and for a teen movie, a 2 on our scale means there's no F-bombs. You're saying hell and damn.
That should be a 1 then.
Oh.
We did really good with our ratings on this. We're going to have to tinker with our scales.
No, wait, hold on. I think they might say a-hole or something like that.
Oh, okay, so never mind.
Anyway, for language, it's a 2, because they might say hell and damn and a few other things that I personally won't repeat, but I think that actually we could repeat on this podcast and get away with, which is a good sign language-wise, again, especially for a teen movie. And then, it's rated PG, so, it's...
Yeah, they keep adapting. They keep moving the goalposts for what ratings are. So, you gotta look at why they rated something what they rated it to really know if the rating is what it should be.
Right. But it's still not bad. And then romance is a 2. The whole movie is about romance. She's looking for love, and it's a little bit of a love triangle thing going on. But they don't take their clothes off. And they don't... There's nothing really explicit. There's 1 or 2 kisses, and that's it. And they're not even really long, dragged-out kisses.
Right. Very surprising.
Yeah, they're sweet. This is actually a sweet movie.
Yes. That's also the standard that's been set for teen films, has also changed the standard for other things. But it is sweet, and you really don't feel like, even though you have, like, her best friend it's in New Orleans, so which is important to know because culturally that's important to know. It's set there, and, like, her best friend is a black girl, who they put her in there, and I don't know if it was tokenism or not, but it didn't feel tokenism to put her in there. It was just like, yeah, of course she'd be in this high school, she'd have different kinds of friends.
Right.
They don't focus on like any of the big issues in that kind of way. They keep the focus on the fact that, oh, I'm so tall and I feel like a freak.
Right.
Which is probably also why it was so sweet, that you didn't feel like there was all this extra, like, anxiety added into the film.
Yeah. Her friend is just really supportive and stands up for her when people tease her. Yeah.
She's got, like, a big personality. She seems like a lot of fun. She's always dancing. She's always grooving. Mm-hmm. She feels like, oh yeah, I could totally know a person like that. Not someone who's just always angry. And now here's the thing with this film. And there are not a lot of tall girls in this regard. That's definitely true. And it is definitely true that if a girl starts growing over 6 feet, you could feel like a freak. I don't know, when I went to high school, and actually it wasn't even when I was in high school, it was once I was out of high school. There was one girl that I knew of who was over 6 feet. So she didn't get to wear heels because that would just make her too tall, and she didn't. The thing she had a hard time with is, like, let's say she wanted a short skirt, it would become like a mini skirt on her. If she wanted a long skirt, then it was a short skirt on her. And that's legit. Like, that is a legit situation. It's not like a made up, like, how come they don't make a size 27, like the body positivity thing, which that's a separate thing. There's a whole thing about how they want to move those sizes into the regular sizes. Okay, that's a separate topic. Here, this is something, she cannot do anything about the fact that she's taller. It's not like whether or not, it's not a body shaming thing, like, you can't do anything about it. But here's where I have the problem. Like, of course I have the problem somewhere. Here's where I have the problem. Is there no girls basketball team anywhere in the vicinity that would also have tall girls in it? Like, they make this whole thing about how, oh, I'm so tall, I'm a freak, which, yes, she could be feeling that, and I'm not going to argue with that thought. But it's also like, why are you the only person in the entire world who's so tall? Mm. And you see the dad has a lot of misguided attempts of, like, look, we're going to have this tall club come here, and then you will feel like a freak. And she's like, no, I feel more like a freak now. But maybe it's also standard for a high school to have a girls basketball team. It just seems unusual that there would be no other tall person, like, anywhere in sight. And also, maybe this thought doesn't occur in high school, but especially when you see her when she's dressed in her, like, pantsuit sort of thing at the end. And besides, I don't know what the ruffled collar is doing there, but besides that, she looks like a model. That's what she looks like. Like, guys totally go for the long, leggy look. Okay, maybe not if they're 5'4", they're not gonna, well, they might, but, they may.
That's true, actually. Models are usually really tall.
Yeah, models are usually tall, and they're slim, and whatever. And she is. So, she's not even, like, balancing the weight part of it. It's just, she is tall and slim, and she has nice features. So it seems kind of curious. There's a lot of curiousness to this now I thought, so where am I going with this is that I think it would have been more interesting and almost a little bit less shallow if it would have been like, why does everybody keep telling me that just because I'm tall, I have to play basketball if I want to be a concert pianist? Right? Because we do see that she loves music and she used to play piano and she stopped because guys have wider palms. That's why most of them are guys. There's more guys who are professional pianists and not girls. That is a little bit, to me at least, that's a little bit more complex and interesting because every tall person has probably gotten the line of like, oh, did you play basketball? Oh, definitely how's the weather up there, but like, oh, do you play basketball? So it would be interesting for her, not of like, oh, how's the weather up there? You're a freak because you're tall, but just like, oh, have you played basketball? Because obviously if you're a tall person, you play basketball. And she's like, look, I'm not even athletic, or I don't like basketball. I want to play piano. It's way more than just like stopping it at the tallness.
That's like taking the tallness and using it, right? Yeah. Yes, being tall is hard, but specifically what about being tall in a way that it might manifest in her personality or not in her personality? Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Well, because that goes to expectations, right? Versus just like, oh, hey, how's the weather? They're walking by and everyone's like, oh, stop bullying her. It's like, it's not bullying. It's just because they don't have anything else to say. Maybe some people are bullying, but I'm just saying, yeah, they're just, you have no other line, so you throw that out there.
You think you're the first person who says it.
Yeah, exactly.
So you think you're really clever. Like, you're not trying to bully. You're trying to be really clever. You don't realize that everyone says it.
Yeah. And so, like, a snarky comment. We also... Okay, I don't know what this trope is, and you always see it in teen stuff where there's like, or rom-coms also. Like, so she goes to the prom or whatever, whatever dance you went to, homecoming, and she takes the mic and she makes a big speech and everybody applauds her.
Oh,
like, would that actually happen in a high school or anywhere in life where someone grabs a mic, makes a big speech, and everyone's listening and everybody applauds and no one's like, what the hell? You know? Like, hey, turn the music back on. Take away the mic. Why are we listening to you right now? And what are you even saying? I don't care about your issues, you know?
Because she wasn't she wasn't voted anything. She just goes up and takes the mic.
Yes.
Yeah, it was that one. Sometimes yes, you're right. That's a trope and it's a weird trope, but sometimes at least the character has won something or sort of like a train wreck. So they're always doing massive, big things like that. But this was so out of character and so out of place. There was no reason for her to come up and take the mic and start talking. It was weird. It
was weird. And it's also, so writers probably love to put together beautiful lines to inspire people, all that stuff. But it's like, part of it really feels narcissistic. I mean, it's a little bit of an extreme usage, but you go up there and you start lecturing everyone.
Right.
Well, who made you like the genius? You know? Okay, fine. I understand, no more bullying or whatever. Maybe. So yeah, the next time someone makes a comment to you, you own it or like, how's the weather up there or whatever, you find some comment to own it with. You just ignore it or you tell them off, whatever. But like, you have to go up in front of the whole high school and start speechifying to everybody at a dance. Like,
yeah.
Come on, like, judge the mood, Run for class president and tell everybody as class president, I'm gonna be whatever your speeches are. I don't know, there's just something about it that's just like off. It's like when they always, thank God they don't do this anymore, but it used to be like when the first kiss between the couple happened and everybody would applaud it. Like, nobody does that ever or anywhere, okay? Instead they're like, really, you have to do that in front of us right now? Or they're like, hey, go somewhere private. No one applauds anybody else. Okay, they don't. The only time they do it is at a wedding, and that's not because they're applauding the kids, they're applauding like the marriage that, know, the ceremony. It's like, why do they put these tropes in and then like, why would you expect either girls or even guys to think differently about romance or to have a misjudgment about romance when you pretend like this is a thing that people do? No, they don't do it. Nobody applauds. They don't do it. So thank God they got rid of that. But like, this speechifying thing is like, come on. I'd rather see it as an individual one-on-one thing or like a person to a group thing. Or even when sometimes they'll do it, it makes a little bit more sense if they have to read an essay for class. Right? So that makes it, because you have to get up there, you gotta say something, whatever, it makes a little bit more sense there. But to hear this, like, we're in the middle of a dance right now, and you didn't get crowned anything, so now you gotta go up there and make your speech. But aside from that, well, also, okay, then there's one more thing also. You have the thing where and this is a new trope that you're seeing a lot in books and in film, it's a lot where the girl makes the first move. And the girl kisses first. And it's not necessarily because the guy is whatever. So I don't know. My suspicion would be like, I wonder if this is part of like, you have to get consent thing. So like if the girl kisses first, that means she's given consent or something. Even though, why do you have to ask the guy then for consent?
Yeah. No,
yeah, I don't know what it is. But I wonder, we should probably find some guys to talk to about this. How they feel about that. Because, I don't know. I don't know if I like this, I guess it's probably like a feminist thing also. Like the girl makes the move because she's so strong and so whatever. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I'm noticing it and I'm not sure yet how, because right now it's just a little bit different. So you're noticing the difference of it. But again, I think we'd have to talk to some guys about this of like, how do you feel if the girl would kiss first? It's kind of like, I don't know.
I'm sure they'd all be very happy if a girl wanted to kiss them. At least teenage boys. I'm sure any teenage boys like, a girl wants to kiss me, I don't care.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, this is second, third.
Yeah. Well, this is someone you're in like an actual relationship with or building a relationship with. I wonder, like, do you feel like if the girl kisses first, do you feel like she's taken away something that should have been yours? Or are you just like, who cares? We get to kiss. Yeah.
Right.
Interesting. I don't know. I think it's an interesting question to ask. Yeah. You have the whole thing also with her sister is like a beauty queen and she's so perfect and so everything like that. But they still have, like a nice relationship with each other, which is also good.
Yeah, I liked that they were very different from each other, but they got along. And the sister was supportive of her. Actually, the only thing that is interesting about this movie, but it doesn't end up being the whole thing, is that she's tall and she's uncomfortable. So her sister and her mom are both on board with giving her a little bit of a makeover when she wants to impress this one guy. So you have a little bit of that thing where the girl changes her appearance for a guy, which, we talked about it like with Grease, because that's a huge transformation. Whereas this one, first of all, it's not really, it happens, but it's not such a big focus. But also, it's not so much a transformation, I think, it's not so much a transformation as a change, right? Like she wears a lot of sweatshirts and jeans, and her sister says, look, if you, throw on some lipstick and take off your sweatshirt, obviously to have a shirt underneath, not to take off your clothes, but you know what I mean. If you doll yourself up a little bit, people are going to notice, but almost not just because you'll be prettier, but just because it's going to be a change from where you've been before. I mean, I think that's reasonable to have. People do change their appearance, or at least brush up their appearance. And it's not even about changing or transforming who you are. Sometimes it's just about accentuating, or it's about making a contrast between that was before and this is now, or even just about, I'm going to put in a different kind of effort for you because I'm interested. So it was a little bit iffy, but I think it was done reasonably. I don't know. Did you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, it felt like just they were cleaning her up a little bit, but not in the way of like, oh, your hair is all over the place, now we have to blow dry it. Like, it didn't feel like that. So it seemed more like, this is how I'm going to bond now with the other woman in my family, but not in a... Yeah, I don't know. I thought it was kind of a little bit more subtle, I guess, or a little bit less like, oh, this massive transformation. But we do see that one of the guys who was always teasing her, like all of a sudden was like, oh my gosh, she's pretty. I will admit now that she actually is a very pretty person, right? He's kind of like half into her. But that scene was weird. There was a scene where they kind of are in like like an escape room, like some murder mystery thing. Oh,
yes.
And there's like three couples that go through. I'm like, okay, we're all going to make out now. And you're like, what? What? Why? What is even happening here right now? That scene was weird. For me, it was weird. Everyone's watching each other making out because they're all trying to make each other jealous, sort of thing. And it's like, guys, stop it. Stop it. I don't know. It's funny because there were certain things about this that were good or good enough, I guess. I say good enough, or that weren't too bad. And then there were like a few weird things that you're just like, what is this? And then the second film was totally like, the conflict of it felt very forced. I didn't even watch all of it. I kind of like, oh, Red Wit's bad, and then look at the last 5 minutes. Then of course, whoever she gets together with, they have to have the breakup, they have to get back together. There's a reason why, excuse the language, they call sequels horror films. And it's funny, I overheard someone say, like, why did they make a second one of these movies? Like, was there did we feel like there was a reason why we need to see more of it? Is it like there wasn't a conclusion? It's kind of like a forced whatever. And then you also have like the one guy, the Swede, who she like was it to, and then whatever, he kind of redeemed himself, and they make a new couple out of it, So, whatever. Maybe people watch it, maybe not. Maybe they just had a 2-film contract with the actors. Who knows?
Could be.
Yeah, as far as things go, it's relatively much cleaner than most other teen films these days. That's for sure.
Yeah. It was a pleasant surprise in terms of the family friendliness and the cleanliness of it. Good job, tall girl, at least on that front. Good job.
The one thing also is that I couldn't figure out the mom I was like, who is that? And then you look it up, it's Angela from The Office.
Oh,
and
yes.
Like, oh, I know you. Oh, you could be in things that's not The Office? Oh, okay. Oh. We're going to end it late. We have to give a high five for that one.
Oh, because she's tall?
Yeah.
I get it.
You might have to cut that out.
No, we'll leave it in. We'll let people understand what your sense of humor is, as it were. Maybe we'll work on that a little bit. Thanks so much for listening, folks, and we will catch you next time.
Cheers, peoples!
We hope you enjoyed this week's episode of Oh My Word podcast. Make sure you're subscribed so you always get the latest episode, and please leave us a rating and a review. And please share the show with your friends. Also, follow us on Instagram at Oh My Word podcast. There we post episode updates, our ratings for each book, and also our personal reading recommendations. Music for the show is by Tim Burke. Editor is Emily Yaffe. We'll see you next week.